The producer explains why young Sheldon's family is so distinct on TBD. Hello everyone, my name is Alana. Welcome to my channel. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a like. Up executive producer Steve Holland provides a compelling rationale for why the Cooper family in young Sheldon is more endearing than their counterparts on The Big Bang Theory. CBS approved the prequel series that focuses on Sheldon's Texas upbringing in an attempt to capitalize on the success of the nerd-focused sitcom. Several years after The Big Bang Theory concluded, young Sheldon has emerged as the top comedy on television, proving that the choice was the right one. The Big Bang Theory, the definitive inside story of the hit story by Jessica Radloff. The Coopers are considerably nicer in young Sheldon than they are in The Big Bang Theory, as Holland explains. The producer says it comes down to Sheldon's evolving view of his family as he gets older. See Holland's complete response below. Related, young Sheldon alters the timeline of The Big Bang Theory. It's no secret that throughout the years, young Sheldon has made a number of continuity mistakes with The Big Bang Theory. But perhaps the most obvious difference between their portrayals of characters is the substantial disparity. At first, it appeared that just George was subjected to this approach, but as the prequel went on, it's evident that every Cooper clan member has undergone some sort of transformation since their time on The Big Bang Theory. CBS will need to reconcile these character versions unless the prequel formally separates from its parent series. Fortunately, it may have more time to maintain harmony in the Cooper home after young Sheldon's most recent timeline error. In the end, George's infidelity scandal and untimely death will have to occur. The network doesn't have much time to set the stage for these catastrophes, which may be the cause of Mary, Georgie, and Missy's radically different behaviors in The Big Bang Theory, given where the spinoff is in the timeline and the development of its younger performers. Young Sheldon is now expected to return for Season 7. This allows it sufficient time to address George's affair and death. If Sheldon hadn't met Leonard and the other members of the Pasadena group, The Big Bang Theory may have been much darker, as evidenced by Paige's recent reappearance. However, it also emphasizes how crucial his family has been to his career. Thus, it only makes sense that the prequel comedy would completely explore their tales. Have you ever wondered why the family dynamics of young Sheldon Cooper in Young Sheldon seem so vastly different from those in The Big Bang Theory? What could possibly account for the massive shift in personalities, behaviors, and even relationships between the two shows? Well, buckle up because we're about to dive deep into a surprising revelation from young Sheldon's producer that will make you rethink everything you knew about Sheldon's family. The Big Bang Theory, the hit sitcom that made Sheldon Cooper a household name, presents the grown-up version of Sheldon as a quirky, socially awkward physicist with a genius-level intellect, a love for trains, and a complete inability to understand social cues. His family, particularly his mom Mary, are loving but often baffled by Sheldon's eccentricities. But when we first meet the Cooper family in young Sheldon, we see a very different picture. Sheldon's mother, Mary, seems more nurturing. Sheldon's father, George, appears more active and involved, and his siblings, Missy and Georgie, are portrayed as typical teenagers. But why the drastic contrast? One of the main reasons for the differences between young Sheldon and The Big Bang Theory is a simple one. The shows are set in different times in Sheldon's life. When we meet Sheldon in The Big Bang Theory, he's an adult, in his 30s, and by this point, he's had years of experience with his family, all of which have shaped who he is today. But in young Sheldon, we meet him as a child, growing up in Texas in the 1980s, a much different time with different societal norms. Producer Chuck Lorre, who also created The Big Bang Theory, explained that one of the biggest challenges in creating young Sheldon was finding a way to maintain the essence of Sheldon's character from the original show while still being true to his childhood experiences. It turns out the personality traits we see in adult Sheldon, the ones that seem so exaggerated or even alienating to others, were shaped by years of family dynamics and the challenges of growing up in a unique household. At first glance, it seems like the young Sheldon family might be portrayed as more normal or functional compared to the dysfunctional family dynamic seen in The Big Bang Theory. But Chuck Lorre insists this was a deliberate choice to showcase a more empathetic side to Sheldon. That Sheldon's mother, Mary, is a deeply religious and nurturing woman in young Sheldon, someone who strives to keep her family together, even while grappling with Sheldon's intelligence and eccentricities. In The Big Bang Theory, Mary's character is more of a traditional, no-nonsense type of mom, often shown as stern but loving. But in young Sheldon, Mary is depicted as struggling to understand Sheldon's mind, but doing everything she can to support him. This portrayal helps explain why, in The Big Bang Theory, she sometimes seems confused by Sheldon's behavior, but still does her best to connect with him. The foundation of their relationship was built on years of this early interaction. Another area where young Sheldon dramatically differs from The Big Bang Theory is in the depiction of Sheldon's father, George Cooper Sr. In The Big Bang Theory, George is only briefly mentioned and often seems distant or disinterested in Sheldon's life. However, in young Sheldon, we see a more involved and caring father figure. George Sr. is shown as a football coach who loves his children but is often overwhelmed by Sheldon's brilliance. He wants to connect with his son, but struggles to relate to his intellect. Lorre emphasized that the portrayal of George Sr. in young Sheldon is meant to highlight the complexity of family relationships. Even though George Sr. may not have been the ideal father figure, he was still trying to make a connection with his son in the best way he knew how. This backstory gives more context to why Sheldon might have felt neglected or misunderstood as an adult. In The Big Bang Theory, Sheldon's relationship with his father is more estranged, and George's absence is palpable, which makes his portrayal in young Sheldon all the more important. The sibling dynamics in young Sheldon also differ greatly from what we see in The Big Bang Theory. Sheldon's older brother, Georgie, is portrayed as a teenager who often finds himself in trouble, while Sheldon's twin sister, Missy, is presented as a more typical child. Missy is shown to be more socially adept and emotionally intuitive, often teasing Sheldon but also standing up for him in a way that only a sibling could. In contrast, in The Big Bang Theory, Georgie's presence is barely felt, and Missy is more of a background character. This difference is also explained by Lorre as a result of how time has shaped their relationships. In The Big Bang Theory, Sheldon's relationships with his family are more distant and defined by the emotional distance of adulthood. But in young Sheldon, we're seeing these relationships evolve. Missy and Georgie's roles in Sheldon's life were much more prominent and formative, and the show gives viewers a glimpse of the moments that shaped Sheldon into the person he would become. One theory that has emerged regarding these differences is that young Sheldon offers a glimpse into a more nurturing, idealized family dynamic, whereas The Big Bang Theory portrays a more realistic, sometimes chaotic, version of what those relationships might have looked like years down the road. But Lorre points out that while young Sheldon may appear more functional at first glance, the challenges of Sheldon's upbringing were still significant. His family might have been trying their best, but they still faced the challenges of understanding and coping with Sheldon's extraordinary mind. In essence, Young Sheldon is a show that focuses on the formative years of a young boy who is far beyond his peers intellectually, but still in need of love, support, and understanding.